The contents of this show are for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Any information on the show does not create a client-therapist relationship and should not be taken as professional advice. Before making any decisions regarding your healthcare, ask your personal physician or mental health care professional, or call 911 for any emergencies.
We are three friends exploring connection, from the coffee shop to the podcast studio. I'm Amy.
I'm Anna.
I'm Erin.
Hey, we wanted to give you a quick heads up that this episode was recorded before any stay-at-home orders were in place and before we had any idea what the coronavirus would be doing to our lives today. Just something to keep in mind while listening. Also, we have a super cool new way to support the show. For as little as $3 a month, you can become a patron and help us keep doing what we're doing. Patreon.com/lessalonepodcast. And there's a link on our website right at the top, lessalonepodcast.com.
Here we are.
We're back
in the studio.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Back in the saddle again.
Yes. You got this.
We are here.
thing.
We are here.
Anna, are you here? That's the real
I'm
question.
not really here. I kind of forgot about tonight's recording.
She put me to voicemail twice.
2 times.
2 times.
And
I had just put my sweatpants on. I'm like, I was going to start doing some of our social media stuff. I'm like, settled in. I was going to turn on a true crime show.
She didn't want to have a nice
snap.
conversation with me.
Did
you? You did not.
I had Humpty
Thank you.
right next to me.
Oh.
We were both settled in.
Yep.
We were out all day. And then I'm like, wait, this must be an emergency.
That
and then,
is
oh, wait,
so
no,
funny.
you texted.
Yep.
And you're
And
like,
that's how you get a hold of Anna.
You're all, where are you? And I'm like, what do you mean? And then I looked at the calendar and I'm like, oh, shit.
Not where you're supposed to be.
Not.
That's where you are.
And that's like totally out of character for me to forget.
Yeah. Totally out of character
That's very,
for you.
very true.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So-
I think the
But I made it here.
You did.
and
I'm not
Real
quite.
quick.
and you know the owner of the studio really came through with letting us know how to get in.
That's handy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good.
That's good.
Thank you. All right.
So we had Joan Rogliano in last episode. Such a great interview.
She's great.
She's so
Such-
awesome.
Oh, she's
And really,
so
her
awesome.
energy is the most. I hope that comes across to the audience because it's her energy in person is so calming.
and loving and comforting and
Yeah.
just so maternal in a way. Yeah, she
Just
has.
so kind. She's like the kind of person I would like to be.
Well, I think that's the thing is it's such a gift with older people that have clearly she's worked through whatever the thing she needs to work through, and then people's energy because then there's like wisdom oozing out of them, and I love that.
Well,
Well, my
even-
favorite thing.
Like just in her presence.
Yes.
Like, I mean, obviously she had a lot of valuable and wonderful things to say,
Yeah.
but simply being in her presence was like
It's a gift.
so. Yeah,
A
it was
real
like
gift.
I wanted to tell her that she was like a human Xanax, but I thought that might be offensive. And I've been worried about being offensive to people. So I declined to say that.
Right.
But that's kind of how it felt. Like I just felt
Maybe
kind
she's
of,
listening to this episode.
Joan, I love you. And please do not
Thank
be
you
offended.
for the
Yeah.
the chill pill.
Yeah, it was like just that. What were you saying? Like the strongest?
Nervous system in the room wins.
Yeah. Did you say that after the episode or when? Something.
I might have said
Yeah.
it during the episode.
Yeah.
Too.
I think you said it after.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
You're wrong, Erin.
Yes.
We are right.
They'll tell you when you said it.
Why'd you even ask? Okay.
Okay. We're working through some stuff here. You're mad that I didn't answer, huh?
Pow, pow, pow.
Are you mad?
No.
Okay.
Mad about what time is it?
I had to.
Just give him some shit.
I know.
Give him some shit.
Yeah.
That's all.
Totally.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I really thought that was going to turn into it, but you are mad. And I'm like, oh, I hate when people do that, when people tell you that you're mad, but you're not mad.
Oh,
I trust you if you say you're
So
not
no.
mad.
Yep. Anyways, okay. Moving on.
Well,
Okay.
so that's something to learn
Yes.
about with people is trust what they tell you.
Yes.
It's like,
Or just like realize that someone else has to be adult enough to tell you if they have a problem.
Yeah.
And if they can't do
Yes.
that, then, and if they're being like bitchy or a jerk to you, then like F them.
Yep. And
How about that?
also too, that's
one way to do it.
Give it a little shit's okay.
Yeah.
You forgot about recording. I can give you a little shit for it, right?
No. I'm talking about if someone is.
Oh, if you piss me off, I should tell you.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't piss me off.
Rather
I'm
than
just
like being like bitchy and not telling.
passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive. Thank you.
It's my favorite.
Therapist.
It is my favorite.
I bet it is.
It's great.
So we're gonna just quickly circle back to the question that we asked
thank
Joan.
you.
super good at this.
Thank you, Amy.
Here we go. So
Okay.
what was that question? The rando. Oh,
question?
what body part would you
The
do
rando?
without? No.
The rando question.
Yeah. What was that?
The first one I asked her was, would you rather lose your right hand or left foot? Or it was, would you rather lose your left hand or right foot? I can't remember.
It was left hand, right foot.
Left hand, right foot.
I
That's
think
right.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so what would you say?
Well, the same reason she had, is I would not lose my foot because I'm a runner.
Yeah.
And I would agree with losing the foot because I'm a right-handed. I right-handed. So I'd
But you
rather-
would lose your left hand.
Yeah, exactly. So
No. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I am a righty.
Yeah. Okay.
So definitely losing my left hand.
Well, yeah. Because, it's either do I use a wheelchair or crutches my whole life, or do I just not?
Well, you could get a prosthetic,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
Wait. I think that like defeats the entire purpose
Oh,
of the
no.
question, right?
No, I think you could do it.
Really?
Yeah. Oh.
Adaptability.
Yeah.
But
I
but
think
I'm
so.
thinking like do without.
If you had to suffer for
no.
your whole life,
you have to suffer.
you can't have any things.
No,
that
you know
help.
what?
You're gonna
I
You
suffer.
have to hop your whole life.
Hey, I'm gonna give a quick shout out because remember that woman on there was a woman on The Bachelor, and I'm telling you, The Bachelor.
Okay.
There's
All right.
a lot
Go
there.
Ahead. Go ahead.
The woman on The Bachelor who had a disability with her, I don't know which arm it was, but I think she had like a shortened arm or something. But I always just really admired her because she just was on that, like
We played against a girl in basketball when she had the same arm type of thing, I think.
Yeah.
And she was amazing.
Yes.
And it did not stop her. It didn't change her. She was still awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, how badass
Yeah.
are you if you can adapt in that way?
Yeah.
Like, it is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
I
I
agree
do
with
this.
that. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway,
However, if I did have to choose to take my ankle off or take,
Yeah.
if my ankle had to come up, I would still use a prosthetic.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's
yes.
the addendum
Totally.
for myself.
definitely.
Totally.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I would choose the hand option too.
Okay.
Great. I'm
Yeah.
glad we got that.
Oh, wow.
But we have
Two
another
questions. We do
question.
have- So hopefully
Oh,
it
yeah,
goes
what
as well
was
as
it?
that one.
Everybody thought that one was super easy, apparently. Okay, what has the last year taught you? Amy, you first.
Wow.
Just kidding. You don't have to go
I'm
first.
not going first. I can't.
Why don't you pull an Anna?
Oh, gosh. I was thinking about this on the way over here as I was driving over here late. Just like, oh, yeah, that's a big question.
Yeah, that's a big question.
Gosh, I feel like it's taught me a lot about failure.
How so?
Honestly. Like, I feel like there's a certain perceived idea about someone who's written a book. And, like, it just like, oh, you're supposed to be just set. It's like, it's just kind of put on this pedestal of like, oh, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. And then once that's done, you're, like, successful or something.
You have
like,
arrived.
Yeah, and then it's like,
Interesting.
I've just had some different low points this year of just like, gosh, I feel like I'm maybe at a starting over point in different areas of my life. And I don't know if this makes any sense, but I just kind of feel like a new low.
Anna, keep going. Say more about that, Anna.
Gosh, wow, this sounds so depressing.
Well, keep going.
No, but
You're in the
it's,
middle now.
So 2020 is really off to a great
it's
start.
off to a wonderful start. Oh shit. No. Yeah, I just feel like
Actually, I have to say I really appreciate your honesty.
Yep.
Okay. 'Cause
For real.
If it's too depressing, we
No,
said
it's not.
Let's just give him a little poke.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I mean, you know, we talk a lot about, like, even before this episode, we were talking about, like, positivity and, like, not letting yourself go to that deep place. And I just feel like, you know, at my age, I'm 40, you know, it's like, oh, you're supposed to have it all figured out. Or, like, you're supposed to have it all figured out in a way.
Says everyone, but no one does that.
There's this
Right.
perceived idea. I guess
course.
everybody
Yeah.
at every stage thinks, oh, I'm supposed to have this shit figured out. Like, I'm 40. Shouldn't I have this figured out? And it's
Right.
like, gosh, I just, you know, I have this situation with a friend and I just really feel like I messed it up. And like, just different, you know, marriage is hard. It just, and just different career stuff. I just feel like I've hit a new bottom. And,
Yeah.
and not to say that I won't come out of it, but
Right.
it's just, I like, you know, I'm walking through it and, you know, it's just, yeah, it's,
Do you feel like there's like a rebirth coming?
I think so. I mean, it's almost like, I don't really know where to go with this. But
Yeah.
like, I just feel like you just, I have thought that I'm there, I'm done, everything's set up. And then it's like, oh, nope. You're always going to be learning and continuing
course.
to grow. And it's like, it's just the way it's worked in like every area of my life.
Yeah.
It just feels like,
You feel like it happened all at once?
Yeah, it's
all
just
your
kind
areas
of-
affected all at once.
yeah, and I'm not sure what that's all about.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, I'm trying to be gentle with myself and, you know, yeah.
And snuggle Humpty.
And Snuggle Humpty,
Humpty
he's
Hump.
just a joy.
Yep.
He's
Oh,
a
I'm
joy.
so glad.
Our new dog, newish. We've had it for a while.
I
now.
heard someone say to you that ever since you got him, there's like a new joy to you or something like that.
She's like, oh, you've totally changed.
yeah.
And I was like, really?
Yeah.
And good or bad?
You're like, I'm at a new low. What are you talking about?
no, I mean, and
Just kidding.
maybe I'm saying that in the wrong way, but it's just like, I feel like I'm not being very articulate about
You're
this.
doing great.
But it's just like, I feel like at 40, I should have my shit figured out. And I feel like I'm just starting over in different areas. Or it's just like, gosh, how am I still messing stuff up this bad?
Because you're a human being.
Yeah. Freaking humanness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's like trying to be kind with myself and just be like, I just need to just ask for help and just be like, I need to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron, what about
And
you?
I think that there's a good. I was driving past.
Hold up.
I was driving past this building. It might have been a church or something, but it was talking about when you were in the valley, then there's two mountains, and I was like,
I saw that on a
it's
church
on
sign.
University, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, that is so. Normally, I like kind
Yes.
of roll my eyes, but I was like, oh, that's.
There
so
are two
good.
peaks
Two-
to every
yeah,
valley.
Yeah, 2 peaks to
Yeah.
every valley. So
yes,
good.
so good. That
and
church always has really good things.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And so I would say that's up.
What church is it?
Okay, wait. I just have to say there are 3 signs I watch every single time I drive by them in Denver. One is University, and I think it's
St. Thomas Aquinas Church?
no,
Something?
it's the one where that's everybody goes to that school, St. Paul
Oh,
of the St.
Sorry, non-Denver people.
Sorry,
You won't know what
I
we're talking
know.
We're getting in the weeds.
Okay.
Yep.
And then there's another one that's a Ford dealership off of I-25.
Oh, yeah?
I-25 and I think Evans. They have super great signage and just like empowering, like you got this type of thing,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
work hard and it will pay off type of stuff.
Yeah.
I love that one. And then there is another church, and that one is on Steele Street, and it's like Steele in Arizona.
Okay.
So, telling you.
Yeah.
There's always this gas station that we drive by on 6 that always has super sassy things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like the sassiest
And
gas station.
I think we should start doing like signs. If anyone sees a really great
Send them.
sign,
Send it in.
hashtag,
Tag us.
yeah,
Yeah.
at Lesson Alone Podcast. Check this one out. Okay, so let's see. So the last year for me, oh, doozy. What has it taught me? well, intuition. Listen to my intuition. And I feel like for me, that's why like I like to think that word or, something I'm working on for this year. So definitely like listen to my intuition, stay with it, respect it, don't lose it, and don't lose myself. And the other thing I would say is the just like the amazing value of connection and people being vulnerable. And that includes me, like me being honest and vulnerable and open and talking to, just reaching out. Like those two are my huge lessons. So intuition, and then just the power of talking. So Erin, how would you answer that question?
Well, I think that I have learned about patience this year, and I was reading a tea label, and it was talking about how that nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished, and I think that is a good reference point, because when I get impatient about things, really, I mean, if we look at the seasons, like leaves take a long time to turn, flowers take forever, but then everything always is planted and things are harvested. And so I think it's a good lesson to learn, even though I don't like it when I'm in it. So,
It's good.
Yep.
Lots to learn in the last year. So before we go on to the next segment of the show, we have a drum roll, please. 5-star review. This one is from Ashley Marie MC, and it says, the title is Fantastic. This podcast feels like you're talking to your best friends. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Ashley Marie MC.
Thank you. Keep them coming, please.
Keep them coming.
Who's ready for some intriguing flavors of tea? I am, and I hope you are too. So check out tekotea.us. That's tekotea.us. And I will tell you, there are wild-picked Icelandic herbs blended with delicious green and black teas. So check it out, tekotea.us.
You want to get out of debt? I can help you get out of debt so fast. So get yourself hooked up with the debt-free roadmap, and it will walk you through all the steps. I want to help you get to where you want to be. Debtfreeroadmap.com.
Clean what you can. You'll find products and services that will help you, 1, identify your top 5 values, 2, give you direction in life, and 3, clean, keep things tidy and purified, namely air and water. So check it out, cleanwhatyoucan.com. Hey, Anna.
Yeah?
You know Erin's a pretty badass therapist, right?
I totally know. I just take notes when she's talking.
Me too. Some of our audience does as well. So did you know that there's also a place that you can get information directly from her?
On her website, right?
Yeah. And didn't you do it?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so there's all these free workshops that they're offering, and at thekaliinstitute.com, you can sign up for those. Kali is how you spell Kali, and then institute, thekaliinstitute.com.
Get it done.
So we talked a little bit about how just the energy of, well, first of all, of how different it is for us to have a guest over the phone versus in studio, and then just in general, when we were able to sit in the studio with Joan and really just her calming presence kind of overtook. It felt like.
Yeah.
Totally did.
It was so nice.
It was so nice.
And I think that was a takeaway that all three of us had about how calming Joan was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And usually I'm like scribbling notes during the interviews, and for her, I just found myself completely absorbed. Like I can't find any notes, and I'm like, did I not take any like that, or was I just like so into I don't know, just so listening, holding on to every word from her, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously it was really personal for me. You know, I have not had that opportunity to sit that close to her and have a conversation like that, one-on-one, or, you know, one on three. I don't know, but you know, like that was a new.
To her.
Yeah. That was
It was a 3-in-1.
Yeah.
A 3-on-1 date.
It was definitely a new experience for me because I had seen her as the leader of the Wildflowers group and really up there in front of everyone speaking, and you know, obviously it's her baby or her organization, and so that was really special. And obviously just it's amazing to know that I'm not alone in this divorce, in the process, in the fact that I will be a divorced woman, you know, something I never really thought would be me.
Right.
And then to meet Joan and meet a bunch of other women at that Wildflowers group really meant a lot. And I think like just gave me a whole new like wave to ride, you know, just like would bring me in to the whatever beach. What? Why am I talking about
That's good.
that?
That's okay. There you go.
What's happening? You're surfing?
I'm surfing with a bunch of divorcees.
That's right.
Sounds like a good time. Sounds fun.
Thankfully, they can all ride the wave with me.
There you go. There you go.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, yeah. But Erin, you but when we got here today, you were talking about something called mirror neurons.
Yes.
What?
And so
Yeah.
I think this is an interesting concept that I've heard a lot about, but I don't think that people have. And so we found this article on CogniFit, Health, Brain, and Neuroscience, even though I wrote Brian, but and we'll link to that in the show notes. But so mirror neurons, I'll read the definition of this, but then I'll tell you what it actually means. So mirror neurons can be defined as a group of neurons that activate when we perform an action or when we see an action being performed. And so what does that mean? So if you think about whenever you yawn and then all of a sudden that's contagious and then we yawn, or if someone is crying or someone is sad, then you feel that sadness. And it's like that I think mirror neurons are largely responsible for empathy, like having empathy with people. So you're like feeling with them because we're changing. I think, I don't know. So like smiling and laughing as well, but also too, I think that like, that there's an activation in some sort of process in there of disgust. So when you see disgust on someone else's face, you then feel disgusted.
Oh, totally.
So there's that. And then the other one I thought is that another study shows that, the part of you when you see someone touching someone else, that even though no one's touching you, you can kind of still feel that in your body, which I think is fascinating.
And that is all assuming, like, I mean, because I know, like, if you're a sociopath, like, you are unable to be empathetic.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so this would be for
For the normal population.
non-sociopaths.
If you're not a sociopath, this is a tip for you.
Yes, right. Yes. I think our audience is largely sociopaths, so I'm glad that we clarified that for the people. They're definitely, sociopaths are definitely concerned about connections.
I recently read a study, though,
Yes.
or like read a book, actually, and it is like 1 in 25 people
a lot.
are sociopaths.
Yes.
So this is something to be aware of, that there are people out there who just like unable to be empathetic.
Yes.
And I think, I don't know. I honestly, I cannot wrap my brain around that. I get teased a lot for the way I listen sometimes, especially my brother. He'll tease me. But like, he always says that I really do like literally mirror him. So like if he's telling me the story,
This is it.
yeah, I'll be like nodding my head or like, like having these like facial expressions. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that about me, but it drives him crazy because he'll be like, chill out, like stop, like don't
so
listen to me
intense.
so
he's-
intensely.
He's in sales, so that could be, he might be like tuned into it because of that.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know,
Who
but
knows?
I just find it
And you
fascinating.
can say, well, here's some information.
Yeah,
on
I have
mirror
really
neurons.
strong mirror neurons.
Yes,
so
thank you. Ow.
boom.
Good.
So why did that come to you in our conversation with Joan?
Because of the strongest nervous system in the room wins, and so like she was super calm, and that brought all of our energy level like to a really calm place, and she regulated the entire space in this podcast studio. And so the reason that is we can feel that is because her energy is contagious, and I think mirror neurons are largely responsible for that. And I think that the mirror neurons are things that unless you're in the field of psychology and some that you might not know about. And so
Yeah,
I
totally.
think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I hope all of you think it's interesting.
Yeah, thanks.
Maybe not. Fast forward 30 seconds.
Bing, bing.
Yeah.
Well, I think it does tie in well, though, to...
Because how many
Yeah.
times have you wondered, like, why do I yawn every time someone yawns? This
Right.
is why you yawn
Yeah.
every time
Right.
someone yawns. Yeah.
Right.
Good point.
Right.
I wonder if she like meditates or how she's so calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish I would have asked her.
Right?
I
Follow
know.
up.
Follow up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Follow up.
She's pretty open.
Yeah.
Gave that email, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I think it's interesting too. So, obviously, Joan's work is all about divorced women, and for me, that is obviously, where I'm at in life. So it pertains to me, but our podcast is also not a divorce podcast.
Right,
You
yeah,
know,
right.
it's about a connection.
Right.
It's about connection podcast, but
Divorce rate is high, though.
divorce rate is very high.
Yeah.
And I think the strategies of how to support friends and family on
Yep.
her website
Yes.
are really good about how you can connect with people who might be going through a divorce, but maybe you're not, or you just aren't familiar with that experience. And so I'll just
Yeah,
read
go.
them really
That's great.
quick. So there is on the Wildflowers site, there are 3 tips on how to support
There's a short video.
a short
which is-
video.
Yeah, it's her talking about it.
yeah, with the tips on how to support a friend or family going through a divorce. So the first one is listen and feel comfortable knowing you don't have to have the answers. And I think that is a good point with the mirror neurons,
Yes.
right? Where it's like, if you just show someone that you're really listening,
That's the holding space.
yeah, holding space, like showing love, all of that, undivided attention, right? The second thing is come up with a distraction or just reassure them that life will go on.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
that this too shall pass, right? And then number 3, go with the person to important appointments.
So for you, in reading those, then how do you feel about those since you're going through the process?
Agree. I totally agree. I think that sometimes I repeat myself to like friends and family, or because I just feel like there is so much to process mentally and emotionally for me. And so whenever anyone is listening, I am so appreciative. And if they are able to just hold the space, and frankly, like I know too that space, there is a capacity for, like people will run out of that space, and so there have been times where it's like, someone will say like, I can't right now, I can't listen. And so when people do have the space and are able, it's like, it just means so much, and then
How have you felt when people have said, I can't right now, like I don't have the capacity?
It's been a little tricky. Yeah.
How so?
Yeah. Well, I want to respect it, but
It's hard
mean,
when you're in it.
it is hard when you're in it. Yeah. Yeah. So luckily, I just feel so grateful for the I have so many, there are other people that I can reach out to,
Yeah.
And just how grateful. I'm looking at you too.
But you're not allowed to say that you don't have the capacity.
Yeah, it's not easy, let me tell you. I mean, I would be lying if I was like, oh, no problem, I can totally respect that. But it's, I got to work through that then too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
But it's like totally good, a totally great boundary for someone to tell you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
absolutely.
as hard
absolutely.
as it is. I mean, do you then feel hesitant to ask them?
Big time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like just hesitant to really even talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think that's like just protecting myself, maybe. You know, where it's like, because I know there are other people who have never said anything like that to me, and like, I don't know, that's like safer.
Yeah. True.
You know, so yeah, I don't know, but good questions. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I gotta say. I mean, this whole process is so hard, and I do just know that like so many everybody. It's like the people in my corner are so supportive of me, and I'm so appreciative. And it's amazing. It's really truly amazing. So I think come up with a distraction and reassure someone that life will go on. I think that is also something that you kind of have to proceed with caution.
Yeah, of course.
You don't want to like jump the gun on that, because sometimes people, it is just like you were saying, Erin, about like holding space. It's all about like in due time, distractions are great. But there are some moments, obviously, where that's like the last thing somebody needs. That's the last thing. I should speak for myself. That's like what I can't do,
Right.
But and then I think like important appointments for me, that's been an interesting thing just legally. So there's a lot of with like attorney-client privilege and things that I have learned. I knew nothing about the legal system or, really anything about that. And so there are some rules where like maybe someone would want to go with you to an appointment, but they are not allowed to go into the room with you. Or, so there are some things that I've learned. But as far as like court goes, I mean, I think if anybody is going through a divorce that unfortunately does take you to court, that for me, I have learned that I can't do that by myself. It's just not wise for me emotionally. So, I think they're good tips.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting when she talked about that she does divorce strategy planning with people, which I would never.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, you need a strategy for everything, and so why would that be any different? But I thought it was fascinating that it was like, oh, that makes sense. I would have never thought about before.
And it was also interesting talking to her because I did not have any kind of strategy, going into my divorce. It caught me off guard. There were just a whole bunch of things that listening to her, it's almost like, whoa, like if you were to have the ideal divorce, do what she's saying, do what Joan says, but like, obviously they're all different and not, you can't always have a strategy going into it. But, there are, I think the other really amazing statistic from what I've learned is that like the vast majority of divorces are very amicable and like, solved outside of the courtroom, and good for them, man.
I thought it was super interesting when she was talking about when people are over 50 and when people are over 65, the rate of divorces, because that I also think it's really interesting because that would be an entirely difficult factor added onto things. So I thought that fact.
Did she say what the reason was for that?
I don't know if there is necessarily a reason, but I mean, my parents got divorced, when they were over 65, and that was hard. That was a hard time for. I think like the finances are such a huge thing, and then it's a crazy time. I don't know. Like your life, you should be going, you think you're going into retirement or anyway.
But then, so when she was talking about ageism being a really big thing, I thought that was fascinating.
Right.
So I looked up what exactly is ageism on the World Health Organization defines ageism as stereotyping, prejudice, and discrimination against people on the basis of their age. Ageism is widespread and an insidious practice which harmful effects on the health of older adults. So basically she was saying that that people get discriminated against, especially she was largely referring to women, but people get discriminated against and have a really hard time with employment because oftentimes after a divorce people need to find a way to make money, and that it's hard for women, and so I think that was just it's nice that, I mean, when people bring up things that are not necessarily an issue for you yet, and it's just like, you know that they exist, but when you talk about them in context of divorce, then I just think that helps build empathy for the situation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's so, I mean, you know, it's funny, like being more in the middle age time period, I guess, of life where I am.
Middle-aged.
I know, weird, huh?
Yeah, right.
But it's like, you know, I can only imagine. I mean, I feel like I'm not really, ageism, like that doesn't really affect me.
Well, that's what
you
they were
know?
saying, that ageism is everywhere, and yet it's the most socially normalized prejudice of any. So it's
Yeah.
not like widely countered like racism or sexism, and these attitudes lead to marginalization of older people within communities and have negative impacts on health and well-being.
Well, and we've had that conversation,
Yeah.
right? About like the loneliness epidemic amongst baby boomers and, you know, all the like retired populations. And there's a lot of work.
In the UK, don't they have a specific loneliness project that's
The
geared
minister,
towards...
right?
Well, they have a minister of loneliness, and then they have the campaign to end loneliness. But I don't know if that's necessarily focused on the elderly population, is it?
I think so.
Is it?
From what
Okay.
I've seen, yeah.
Yeah.
I was listening to the Rich Roll podcast, and he was talking about, he was interviewing this doctor, Reagan something, but he wrote this book on different factors, and they were talking about loneliness on the podcast, and this man came in to visit him, and he was in like a smaller village in England, and so he was talking to this man about diet, he was talking to him about exercise, and this dude was like doing great in his career, he was like materially in a really good spot, he was still in the village that he grew up in, but he hadn't seen or made time for any of his friends, and so he was kind of like feeling depressed or like not super great, and he came in to talk about this with the doctor, and the doctor was like, okay, you need to go hang out with one of your friends. I think he called him his mate, maybe, right? On every Sunday, every Sunday for whatever. And he came back like 5 weeks, let's say. I don't remember what he said. And he said that the guy's total disposition was completely different because he had started hanging out and making time to be social with other people. But that's a thing that we necessarily want, I think, in the world of busy now, that we think like, oh, we don't need to hang out with people because we see people, but like just to intentionally connect, I think is so important and often very much missed.
That's like our coffees.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, when we started doing that, and then we were like a couple years in, and we would see each other on that set time, place every week. And I mean, I really remember when I would miss a week or something would go by, or, you know, maybe we had schedules that didn't work or travel or whatever. And I would really feel that miss.
Well,
that,
me too,
like,
yeah.
you know?
Yes, totally. That was like at a point in my life where I think I was working through a lot of stuff, and also like my relationships were in this kind of dynamic switching kind of place, and I didn't have a lot of. I had really strong connections with people, and then that was like switching, and then I felt really like I don't know what to do, and I didn't have like my people at that point that were physically in the same place as I did.
Yeah.
And then, and so it's interesting when we were reflecting on the podcast that we started this about connection is because we needed that for ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, and now like looking at what I went through, or, you know, like going through a divorce, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for obviously the two of you and the podcast, and just like that commitment to our coffee and commitment to recording times. And like at a time when one of probably the most important relationship of mine, you know, was disconnecting.
Yeah.
I had people that I could reconnect with and connect even deeper with. And it's like that to me, I mean, it's been the greatest gift, you know. I just think so much like, I don't know, I know we were talking about the nugget, and I wonder, I would be really curious to know from our audience, like, what do people, like, what do people do on a weekly basis with a friend or with someone or some group of people, or like how are other people building connections?
Yeah, how do people intentionally connect?
Yeah.
What is that process for people?
Yeah, because not too many people meet at 6 a.m. on Wednesday mornings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of right.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, what?
Right. No one meets at 6 a.m.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I was trying to fish out. You guys are just, Amy, are you talking too much?
No.
But no, I do. I like, so I'm curious, you know?
Yeah.
Is that the
I
nugget for
wonder.
the week?
I mean,
Yeah, that sounds good.
what
I
would
think
the
it's
nugget be though? To like make a conscious decision to do something weekly, or let us know? Like, what are
both.
people
I think
doing?
both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, think about it and then let us know. And if you're not happy with what your intentional connections,
Yeah. Yeah.
then
Choose your people wisely if you're going to hang out with them every week. Just saying.
And definitely if you're going to start a podcast with them.
That's right.
Oh, so good. Well, with Joan's work and her, divorce focus, obviously being a realtor, she's so into the home and like connection to the home. And, we've touched on that a little bit in some earlier episodes, but anything you guys did, any
I was
takeaways
thinking
there?
about what it, when I looked at this article on Real Simple about like what people were saying about their home, and I was thinking, well, I should probably figure out what I would say about my home. And so I think for me, it's a place of like safety, security, and a place to land. So when there's like chaos in my world, and to have a place that feels like calm and peaceful, and that I can go there, and it's like a respite from the chaos of life. That's what it feels like. And obviously the people are there, because it makes a big difference when I'm greeted at the door by my husband and my dog, and that feels good. And then it's a lot different when I walk into the house by myself, right? Yeah. So
the energy.
yeah, the energy of that, and I think plants help with that too. It's a big Captain Green Thumb over there.
That's right. I live in a jungle.
Yeah, it is a true story. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like a treehouse.
Yeah.
It is. It's like a treehouse. Oxygen.
I mean, I bet Dory and
Oxygen.
Humpty,
Two thumbs up.
are so happy to see you when you come home,
Yeah,
right? Dory
yeah.
and Humpty.
Humpty is
Oh,
a game changer.
Dory. Yeah, she's so.
Yeah.
She's always in her crate when I come home,
but
and then
still,
she's like, she
flipping
goes
around,
right for the
flipping around.
knees. Yeah.
Yeah.
She just headbutts me. I love it.
So sweet. Dogs
Yeah.
do make a big difference
Yeah.
in the home, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total joy.
I was just talking to somebody about this, where there is maybe a dating app coming out for people with dogs.
Oh, that's a
Smart.
great idea.
Right?
Smart.
I'm surprised it doesn't exist already.
Exactly. And so we were talking about this, and man, I was thinking, I didn't have a dog like for my entire adult life until.
Did you grow up with dogs?
Yes, tons of them.
Yeah.
Like always 2 at a time. Labs, cocker spaniels.
Two
Like,
Dorys?
well, I see why my parents did it that way.
Yeah.
But I feel like, my God,
What's the benefit of two?
then they keep each other company.
Oh, okay.
And they really like just energy wise, like
Oh.
they
They
can
play-
play.
yes.
And yeah, I saw another poodle owner on a walk around the park the other day, and she was saying how she had 2 of them, and that was really great because they could just, poodles are like notoriously high energy, and but then she had to get rid of, or she had to let one go or something. I don't know, because they moved into a small place. That doesn't sound right, but it didn't sound that bad when she was saying it. But she was saying how much of a difference. And when we adopted her, she had been rescued with her sister. And when the kids and I went to go get her after her spay, we had to break them apart. And like Dory's sister went with her new owners, and then we took Dory. Honestly, the kids and I still talk about it. Like it was so sad.
Yeah.
But I was not in a place to take 2 dogs. Anyway, I don't know how I got in that tangent.
That was a good one.
Thanks. Yeah.
Dogs are great.
Dogs are
2
great.
thumbs up.
Yep.
Yep, go
Good.
dogs.
What is it? What's it going to be called? Dogs and dates?
I don't know. There's a good name though.
Dog date?
I don't know.
D-date?
D-Date.
I don't know. I do not know.
Like J-date?
Yeah.
Yep.
But D-date.
D-date. Doggy.
Doggy.
Dick date.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Silent Bob speaks again.
I had to recover from that beginning part there. We had a rocky start.
Hey, how you doing now, Ina?
Fine, just might start crying any random moment.
That's good.
Tearing
You
my
got it.
life apart.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's okay.
Really great at connection.
Yeah. So we're learning. We're learning.
We're learning.
We are exploring connection.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes totally failing at
Well,
it, obviously.
I think, okay, so kind of going back to the beginning and like what this year has taught us or whatever, I think there is quite an irony that also within the last year we started this podcast about connection, and then it's almost like stirring the pot in a way. Like
Totally.
all my significant relationships have been stirred up, and like I have to look at them closer than I was, and it's like, what's that all about? Is it an energy thing?
Is that a question?
Kind of.
I think it's really, I
Yeah,
mean, I
just
think about it all the
are-
time.
What are the chances? Like the irony of
Well, I mean, I think it's similar if you go to therapy or you're doing any internal work. Like if you're doing work on that stuff and it's pulling things that have been in the basement, and then all of a sudden you're like looking at them and you're like, of course it stirs up all the dust of things, you know?
Well, and I think the other thing is that we're doing it publicly. Like here we
Yes,
are. I mean,
that
I've
was
thought
so
about
hard
that
at
a
the beginning,
lot.
yeah.
Like, whoa, can I keep doing this? Or like, I don't know. It's just very vulnerable, obviously,
Right.
and I think it almost makes it that much more intense, maybe like the pot being stirred.
Yeah.
Because it's like we are recording
Yeah.
what we think about connection and
Yeah.
all these different topics, and it's like live. I mean, like
Yeah.
this isn't nothing scripted here, folks.
Right.
life unscripted.
I had such a hard time.
Totally, Anna.
Oh, God.
Hashtag
I got
life
unscripted.
unscripted,
Less
less alone
alone.
podcast.
Oh boy. Yeah, I had a really hard time with that in the beginning, especially having vulnerability hangovers after you talk about like, it was just hard.
Yeah.
And it feels better now, but it was like sometimes, it's just the public format of things. I like
Well, and
that.
I think too that it's like just us having a podcast about this topic. It's like almost this implication, or it's almost implied that we're experts. I think
Yeah.
something about like being like, we have a podcast about connection.
Yeah.
It's like
So
implied
good at
that
it.
we're like experts, even
Right.
though we've said it over and over that we like suck at it, or have things to work on, or
Yeah.
we're exploring it. But still, it's like,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
like.
Right.
We're really bad at connection, but we have a podcast about it. So, like,
Right.
hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I think
what?
As being human beings, I think everyone like struggles at it at some point because
Yeah.
everything's dynamic
And like
flowing.
life is messy.
Life is messy.
I mean, shit. At least we're like here, like
showing up.
showing up,
Yeah.
talking about it honestly.
Yeah.
Like people can leave it or whatever.
Yeah.
Take it.
Take
Take it or leave it. I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah,
Switch
please
those.
take it. Please give us
Yeah.
5 stars. We hope you love it. We are also people pleasers. We really hope you love it. Thanks.
That was a good transition into that. Saved it. You saved it. Well done, Anna.
I'm like, whoa.
Hey. Yeah.
No, I don't mean to be down on it, but it's just like,
Oh, no, and I didn't think
Yeah.
you were.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, like,
Cool.
please,
phew.
listener, please love it.
Right. Yes.
Well,
Yep. We're showing up. We're doing it.
Yeah.
that's right. Some
That should be our new motto, like a podcast about connection, which we're really bad about. We're really bad at.
a podcast about learning about connection. That's what it is.
A podcast about connection by people who are really shitty at it. Thanks.
Not always shitty. at it.
Not
We had a
always.
great rupture repair.
We
That is
did.
great
We
for
did.
connecting.
Wait,
We
can I just tell everybody?
Yeah, because we're gonna have to edit that part out. So
We
you tell them.
Tell them now. Go ahead.
I started getting sweaty palms because
Why?
these two
Oh.
over here, their little spat.
Well, tell
Then-
them when, because we're gonna have to cut that part out. Tell them when the spat happened.
Spat happened when Erin
Take one.
was trying to say a few times what her what she had learned from the last year. And Anna kept joking and like making light of
Poking the bear.
and the bear got grouchy. And so then
The bear can only take so much.
the bear reached its capacity and then it just went south. But we stopped recording
Yep.
and what did you guys do? You should tell.
Well,
we
I
did
jumped
a
up.
sandwich hug.
We had a discussion about it. I jumped up, gave Anna a knee hug, snuggled her to the bosom.
Yeah.
And it was okay. Then
Yeah.
there was tears. We were working through it. And then you came and did a sandwich hug.
Yeah.
It was all right.
What about for you, Anna?
Oh, boy.
Too soon.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I thought you, Aaron, told me how you felt very maturely, and it was like I could hear you and just say, "I'm very sorry. I overstepped. I was trying to be funny. I wasn't funny. I need to take.
You were
a
funny
class.
for a little.
I need to take a class.
That's right.
Apparently, I need to read Aaron symbols.
I know someone who you can see about that.
Who?
Cressel.
Wait. Oh, there.
I was
No,
thinking
I
your ex, the comedian.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's very funny, but
Sorry.
Cut that out.
okay, we're gonna have to edit that part out too. No, that's fine.
Okay.
He is funny. But yeah, I thought you told me that very maturely, and we talked through it and on the spot.
Rupture and repair. It's like
the-
life is messy,
but
but
I
we,
would
but
say-
we do it.
The thing is that we've talked about underlying energy, and Joan's energy was calm, and the reason why we couldn't move on for that is because I couldn't get that out of my body, and so then we had to talk about it further, and I'm sure that you could feel that, and so that's why we had to do the pause. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's probably a few reasons
Yeah.
to do the pause, and then we got
pause.
back to it. And I feel like I don't know. I look forward to the day when we can go back and listen to some of these episodes and be like, "Oh my God, remember when that happened?"
When we're in our Golden Girls house.
Yeah, totally, totally.
But I think that is rupture and repair is so important.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's relationships are messy.
Yeah.
It's not like it was a thing that you were intentionally trying to do, and it's not intentionally I was trying to be offended by what was happening. It just happens, and so then you work through it, and that's how it goes.
And I think in divorce, it's like you can't rupture and repair that relationship.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
like
ruptured.
it's
Look at
really,
Good
it
word.
is really, and so that's an interesting thing. I talk to my kids a lot about rupture and repair, and then I also have to say and own the fact that like I can't repair all relationships, and like, you know, I mean, it takes two, obviously, but like. That's reality, you know? And so, yeah, I just think it's like being human, finding who you can connect with,
Yep.
who you can do rupture and repair with.
Yeah. And if you can't, then it's worth reevaluating those relationships.
Yep.
Time to land the plane?
Yes, let's land this mofo.
I feel like we should sing Kumbaya.
No.
Why not?
Just kidding. Why not? Let's set this place on fire.
Oh, boy.
Well, we'll see you next time.
That sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. You can find more about this episode and a way to connect to the community at lessalonepodcast.com. And if you like us, don't forget to subscribe and be sure to leave a review. It helps other people find us and could be just what they need.